We got you! We got you. And more to come. Clown, thug, crook, criminal.
Well, who's ever narrating that quick video clip, I think is going a little too far at the moment. Because yes, we do know that Jamal Bowman pulled the fire alarm. We do know that he's saying it was an accident. Oh, but was it? Because that was the day that they were voting on a stopgap bill to fund the United States government so it wouldn't shut down. And Bowman claims he was rushing to make a vote and the doors that are normally opened were closed. So he pulled the fire alarm thinking it would open the door. Because yeah, we've all been there, right? We've all went to a door and it was locked. We couldn't get through. We're like, oh, what's going on? And then we see a fire alarm and we go, yeah, let's pull the fire alarm. The door will open and we'll be all set. Well, that's not what happened, because when you pull a fire alarm, it triggers the entire building, which means we have to evacuate. So Bowman couldn't have voted regardless if that story was true. And quite frankly, I don't believe a word of it. But his friends on The View, yes, The View, are going really deep in defending him. And of course, it's a MAGA thing, and Republicans were behind closing the doors and what have you. So they went off on a little tizzy, if you will, and I thought it was quite funny. So have a look at this clip.
My buddy Jamal Bowman.
All right, so.
Okay, so Democratic House member allegedly pulled a fire alarm. He claims that it was because he was trying to get to the House floor. The video seems to, or pictures suggest otherwise. I think it was because the CR came out and he wanted more time to read the bill. But rather, again, than Congress passing a bill that would allow for him to have more time to read it, he literally pulled the fire alarm. It'd be like if I was like, didn't like the next topic and I pulled the fire alarm and ran out. We just can't do that.
What's absolutely ridiculous, though, is that there's MAGA Republicans that are somehow equating this guy doing this infantile stunt with January 6th. To my knowledge, nobody died because this guy pulled that stunt. To my knowledge, nobody was bleeding. Nobody was attacked because of this stunt.
And I don't want to call it a stunt yet. There's going to be an investigation. I know Jamal. And so, again, I'm a little biased. But the doors that are normally open so that he could get to the chambers to read were somehow miraculously closed. How did that happen? And so, yes, sometimes you're freaking out and you're in an elevator and you're pressing all the buttons.
It goes to what you were saying. It goes to them not having the time. It is quite possible that he was trying to get there and the door, not panic, but, you know, if you're not looking, because it's a door that's normally open, you just go and you press a button. You know,
it fire alarm button. Like, I'm so scared of that button.
I don't know, because I don't know what I haven't seen the fire alarm button, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a like fire exit only sign. It was like
no, because you have to break glass to to get to the button. Well, so I don't know.
I don't know. It seems pretty fire alarmy to me.
I don't know. It just looks like a button. I can't see the button.
I think he could. He was a little close.
Did anybody in this audience pull up a fire alarm to get out of a 7th grade test?
Brian, raise your hand. Yeah, we know you did, Brian.
I guess my point is, you know, if you're not sure, then put it up find out what it was, as opposed to just saying, you know, you did this to do that. Because when people pull stunts, I tend to think that they may be more full of it than he is. You know, people who pull this kind of stunt who say, and you only have 3 minutes to read it. I kind of think, oh, all right, well, maybe.
You saw it. You heard it. I hope you think it was amusing, because I did. Let's start off with Farah, who says he allegedly pulled the fire alarm when the surveillance footage clearly shows him with his hand reaching out to the fire alarm. So no, he didn't allegedly pull it. He did pull it. So right there, that's a bit of a cover-up, if you will. Then, of course, good old Ana Navarro has to pipe up and immediately say MAGA Republicans are trying to say that what he did was like the January 6th insurrection, and no one died when Bowman pulled the fire alarm. Really, Anna? No one died? That's your cover for your boy Bowman? He knew exactly why he was doing it. He knew exactly what he was doing, because for some reason he was running behind and he was trying to get in to make a vote. So no, it has nothing to do with MAGA Republicans. It's like they locked the doors so he couldn't get through. So he decided, I'm going to pull the fire alarm. And then we have the wonderful, the lovely Sunny Hostin, who, oh, he's my friend. Okay. Well, she's biased because he's her friend, but she's biased with every Democrat, whether she knows them or not, because as we all know, The View loves the woke. They love the Democrats. That's what they live for, to spew all the Democratic propaganda on that show. That's why they are on TV. Well, he was rushing to get through and he just started pressing buttons. Pressing buttons. There's a wall with a red fire alarm on it. There are no buttons. There's not an elevator. It's a wall with a fire alarm. He wasn't thinking he was hitting something else to make those doors open. He knew, again, he was pulling that fire alarm because it would stop the vote. So Sunny Hostin's angle on the cover-up goes right out the window because she's biased, because they're friends. She makes me sick to my stomach, okay? She's so full of herself. She thinks, of course, like the rest of them, Democrats could never do something wrong. The MAGA Republicans have everything to do with it. And then, of course, there's Whoopi. And Whoopi's another one. There's all kinds of buttons. He could have been reaching out because he was in a hurry and he was frantic. And I don't even know what a fire alarm looks like, she said. Don't you have to break the glass to set it off? Are you serious? Are you serious, Whoopi Goldberg? You don't know what a fire alarm looks like. It's that little red box on the wall in big white letters. It says fire. And you put your fingers on it and you pull it down. It's not a big box with a glass that you have to break the glass to get the fire extinguisher or the fire hose. It's an alarm. But that's her excuse for Bowman pulling the fire alarm. Because he was frantic. He was rushing. He was trying to get there to save the country, to save everybody. Another poor excuse out the window. Jamal Bowman is part of the squad. We know the squad, the woke women, the progressives who want to give everything away for free, who are big on the electric cars and the green energy and the Green New Deal, all of that nonsense that's going to bankrupt the United States. It's going to bankrupt auto manufacturing and what have you. These people have no idea how ridiculous they sound, okay? If that was a Republican member of Congress who pulled that fire alarm, the Democrats would be calling for their head. They would want them expelled. They would want them censured. And that's what some Republicans are calling for. And yes, it's very early, and the U.S. Capitol Police will do their investigation. But the Democrats didn't do anything wrong. They would never try to remove a Republican from Congress for doing something like that, because it was just a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. That penalty, the penalty for pulling a fire alarm or calling in a false fire hoax, according to the Code of the District of Columbia 22-1319, it shall be unlawful for any person or persons to willfully or knowingly give a false alarm of fire or pull a firebox knowing that there is no emergency. And it goes on, but I'm not going to read the whole boring thing. But it does call for a minimum of 6 months imprisonment if found guilty of setting off a fire alarm falsely in a government building. Imprisonment for 6 months, which is far-fetched. It's ridiculous. We don't want Mr. Jamal Bowman to go to jail for pulling a fire alarm, even though we know he did it purposely. Censoring him, I don't know what that'll do, because the Democrats will do everything and anything in their power to make sure he comes out smelling like a rose. And they'll continue to blame the Republicans. They'll continue to say, and as a matter of fact, Sonny Hostin made an inference that those doors were usually always open, but miraculously, they were closed when Bowman was trying to go through them. So what was she insinuating? I'm going to tell you what I think. She was insinuating that a Republican member of Congress made sure those doors were locked so Jamal Bowman could not get there in time to make his vote. That's what I believe. What else can it be? That's what she meant. Because again, she's biased because they're friends. These women, I say this every time I talk about them, I have no idea how they are allowed to say the things they say, tell the lies they tell, and get away with it. No one tries to censor them. They need to have their lips zipped a bit. They need to look at facts before they open their mouth. Because we all know, again, there's an investigation. It wasn't an accident. Absolutely not. Jamal Bowman is a grown man. He knows what a fire alarm looks like. He knows he wasn't pushing buttons like an elevator, because there was no elevator there. This is just another attempt by Democrats to cover for one of their own, because he did something he shouldn't have done, which was, I'm going to be late to vote and that might hurt, so I'm going to stop the vote. By pulling the fire alarm, it stopped the vote. It evacuated the building. And then when everything was all said and done, they went in and they did their vote. That's what it was. So Jamal Bowman needs to be a man, step up and say, look, yes, I did it. I was trying to rush. I knew I wasn't going to make it, so I wanted to slow the vote or stop the vote. What's he going to get, a slap on the wrist? They're not going to throw him in jail. They're not going to throw him out of Congress. I don't know what they do. I don't know what their punishments are. Quite frankly, I don't care. But man up and admit the truth that you knew exactly what you were doing and why you were doing it, and then it'll all just go away. But the Democrats can't do that because they are the best of the best. Everything they do is for the good people of the United States of America, because they care so much about us, which we all know is a crock of shit. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Man up and end it. And The View, stop the lies. I don't know who lies more, them or KJP. Or then maybe they all have the same binder of lies. I don't know, but that's a story for another day. So again, that's all about this subject. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. You won't miss an episode. Share this video with someone. I'd appreciate that. Hope everybody's healthy and safe, and I'll see you real soon. Have a great night.